Hi, so today's column and video are probably on the most requested technique on sort of Twitter in the comments section. People are constantly asking me how to do flicky black eyeliner or 60s eyeliner or ballerina eyeliner. It's that sort of, it's all the same thing. It's basically a sweep of black liquid eyeliner that kind of flicks up at the end. And I have to say, it is a look I absolutely love, and it is my default evening look. It's what I do pretty much every time I go out. It's really quick and easy. I've been doing it so long it's become second nature, and I tend to wear it with a completely nude eye, you know, maybe just a cream shadow underneath, in a very, very, you know, sort of an ivory or something. And then a sweep of black eyeliner over the top, tons of mascara, and a red lip. And it's actually a really, really simple retro look, but it's really dressy and really elegant. I think it looks really lovely. So it's something that I do a lot, and when I'm out, very, very, very often women will say, oh, how do you get your eyeliner like that? I can't get mine like that. Now actually, it's really simple. I read beauty pages telling you how to do it, and it makes my head hurt just reading it. They tell you to do loads of dots along the eyelid and then join them all up. It always just seems needlessly complex to me. There are a few tricks that I learned a really, really long time ago, and I have to give props here to a famous makeup artist from the 80s called Lynn Easton, who is sadly no longer with us, who was my very first boss. And I was her makeup assistant, and she taught me how to do this and told me the trick that never, ever, ever, ever fails. And every time I tell somebody this trick, it completely changes how they do eyeliner. So I'm going to share it with you today. So there are lots of different types of black liquid eyeliner now. There is the classic liquid, which usually comes in a pot like this, a sort of, I don't know what shape you've got, a bit conical, I suppose. And it has a fine brush and lots of black liquid eyeliner. Now that is what I often use, but I'm not going to show you how to use that today, because I'm going to show you the easy way, and you can work up to using this at a later date when you feel more confident. And there are loads like this, you know, you just have the tube and you have a fine brush. Some brushes are better than others, and you can see the column for my favourite ones, but they're not great for beginners. So when you've got this technique down that I'm going to show you today, you can maybe move on to those later, but I'm actually going to show you with a pen. So pens, lots and lots and lots of companies are doing these now. I've got so many here. I've tested millions of the column, but basically they sound a little pen that has a nib, just like a felt tip really, like a calligraphy pen almost. This one by Yves Saint Laurent is one of my favourites. I really love this. I'm using this a lot at the moment. And you just get more control than you do with a liquid, because it's not, the brushes tend to be long and thin. You really need to kind of control them a lot with your hand, whereas these take some of the hard work out for you. The only problem with pens, I would say, is they run out quite quickly, so they don't always offer the best value for money, but they're really great for learning on. So loads of pens. Then there's a new kind of liquid eyeliner that's also become really, really popular, which is gel pots. Loads of companies do these. The cheaper companies like Maybelline, and the more expensive companies like Yves Saint Laurent and Shu Uemura and Bobbi Brown and so on, all do them. They're really, really popular. They're sort of very dense pigmented gel in a pot. And usually they come with their own brush, which is nearly always useless, which you have to throw away and get an individual brush like this one from Bobbi Brown, a sort of stiff tipped liner brush. Again, these are brilliant, but I'm not going to show you those today. I'm going to focus on the pen today until you know what you're doing. And if you already know what you're doing, this is not the video for you, but if this is a technique you'd like to learn, get a pen. It doesn't have to be an expensive one at all. See the column for my favourites. So first, I'm going to pin back my hair so you can see what I'm doing. Now, one of the things you can do when wearing black liquid eyeliner, and it is something I recommend, is to use an eye primer. This is not essential at all for lots of women, but I like to use an eye primer because what can happen when you have black liquid eyeliner is when your eyes open throughout the evening, it can deposit a black line here onto your eyelid where you don't want it, especially for those of us who are kind of over 30 and you're more prone to sort of crepiness on the eyes. That's more likely to happen. So I like to start with an eye primer, though this is completely optional. This one is by Urban Decay and it's called Eyeshadow Primer Potion, and it is by far the best. I've tried lots of them and this is leagues ahead in my opinion. It comes in about 4 colours. I don't like the colour ones, I like the neutral ones. The colour ones are much too glittery, but the neutral one is really great. So, I start with the primer, and you just stroke a little on. It's completely invisible. Goes over all your base, your foundation and powder and concealer and whatnot. And it just primes the lids to grip on to your eye makeup and stop that transferal of liner onto your lid. It stops, and the other thing it stops happening is, you know, when eyeshadow falls, seeps into the creases in your lid and you have to kind of wipe it with your finger, that stops it happening too. It's such a good product. Okay, so my primer's on, leave it for a few seconds. And then you can follow up with a shadow. I am not really one for loads of different coloured eyeshadows and then black flicky eyeliner, although it is a brilliant look. Adele, the singer Adele, does this quite a lot, where she has a very heavy 60s eyeshadow and then she has the black flicky eyeliner, and it does look amazing in photographs. I just find it a bit too much hassle to go out in the evening. It's not a clean look, it's quite a sort of dramatic, almost drag queeny look, which can look completely fabulous, but personally I kind of feel life's too short. So I just tend to go for an ivory, slightly shimmery shadow just to give a little bit of life to my face, but I don't go overboard. So stroke. Also the brilliance of this colour eyeshadow is, you know, you can really whack it on and nobody's any the wiser. Okay, so I've now got a nice ivory powder shadow on. You can use cream if you prefer. Once you've got that primer on, you're pretty much free to put on what you want and it'll protect you. Now, the next bit is crucial. This is the Lynn Easton trick I was telling you about. God rest her soul. So, instead of now going straight to the liquid eyeliner, which is what I do and what you would do if you'd been doing this a long time, you do a cheat and you get a pencil, any black eyeliner pencil, any at all. So you get your pencil, and you've got to hear me out on this one because I know the look is liquid and all kind of precise and everything. The problem most people have with black liquid eyeliner is that the brush wobbles and runs away with them. So as they're trying to do the line, the brush is kind of all over the place and bits of ink going everywhere. Lynn's trick is she would do a pencil first. And the reason this is a stroke of genius is the pencil grips on to the brush on the liquid eyeliner and it stops it wobbling about and it allows you to make a really smooth, precise line. It's genius. It's infallible. The number of people I've taught this technique to who say they were never able to put on eyeliner before and are now completely fine is unbelievable. It's brilliant. So you get the pencil, sharp. You put your eyeliner on with the pencil in a normal way. So I personally start at the outside and then I go up and come in from the other direction. And your pencil line here does not have to be perfect, but it does need to be as close to the lash line as possible. And that is the other reason Lynn's technique is brilliant, is because quite often when you do a liquid eyeliner, there's a little gap between the lash line and the eyelid. You get a little pink stripe, a gap between the line, whereas with a pencil you don't get that because you can get right close in. Same again. Come from the outside. then go into the inside. And meet up. And right down into the lash line. Okay, so you've just got black pencil on. You take your liquid. In this case, I'm going to use a pen, because again, even easier. So you've still got your pencil and your pen. You then decide what angle you want your flick. So my eyes are quite small, so I like to come quite far out and up. So putting a pencil there, I would go for somewhere that sort of angle, sort of in line with my outer brow. So it's kind of, you can probably see better with the pen. I would kind of go there. So bear in mind what angle you want. If you have bigger eyes, you can go more kind of straight up, but I like to go out a bit. Bear in mind where you want your flick to go. Take the pencil and make a dot. That dot is just your guide. Okay, look at that, and then look to the other side and match them up as best you can. Don't panic if they're not in exactly the same place, because do you know what? Your eyes aren't in exactly the same place. No one's eyes are completely symmetrical. So don't worry if your makeup's not exactly the same. So you've done your pencil, now get your liquid. Trace over the pencil that we just did, and you will find that the liquid does not run away with you the way it normally would. And then when you get to the outer edge, instead of following the lash line and going right back down again, take your hand and go up to the dot and draw a line from the dot to your eyelash, to your eyelid, and then with one sweep join them up. And then you can just sharpen it up. Bear in mind, if you don't want the line as thick as I have it, because I tend to have quite a sort of 60s thing, I tend to really go for it if I do it. If you want a thinner line, then obviously your flick needs to not go up so high. The higher up the flick goes, the thicker the line's going to be, because you have to join it somehow from there to here, so your line is automatically going to be thicker. If you want it thinner, just don't go up quite so high. And the side of the pen's nib is doing the work for you, because you're going from the point and you're just sweeping it to join the 2 points together, and it'll dispense the colour as it goes. Okay, so I'll just do the other eye to show you again. So you've still got your dot here, that's where your angle's going to be. Start in the inside and go over the pencil. Again, you won't slip and wobble because the pencil is gripping for you. So there's your stripe. Okay, so that's both eyes done. I've gone for quite a thick, sweepy 60s look, partly because that's the look I like, but also partly so that the camera could pick it up and you could see what I was doing. But it's essentially the same technique if you want a thin line, a thick line, or whatever. You always start with the pencil until you're really confident with what you're doing. Start with the pencil across your lash line, finishing just short of the lash line. Then do a little dot where you want your angle to go. The higher your angle is, the thicker your eyeliner will be. Then you take your liquid eyeliner in pen form is the easiest, and you join that dot to this far corner of your eye in one sweep. And honestly, it couldn't be easier. Do try it. I know so many people just rule out liquid eyeliner because they just think it's too hard and they'll make too much of a mess. But this technique really works because that pencil just grips on to the brush and stops it wobbling. Then over time, once you've cracked that, you can just move on to a liquid eyeliner. And just a note about products, I don't actually think that there is much difference between, well, I don't think a price tag determines how good an eyeliner is. It's funny eyeliner, it's a bit like mascara, it's just a question of finding the one you like. It isn't necessarily the most expensive, like say foundation or perfume. Eyeliner can be really brilliant when it's cheap and it can be really awful when it's expensive. It's just a matter of finding the right one for you. The things I would recommend though that you look out for is you want a really true black. Some black liquid eyeliners, when you put them on, they're just sort of semi-transparent, kind of sheer watery black. You don't want that. You want a really dramatic black, especially if you're not wearing any other colour on your eyes, because you need that sweep, you need that line to look very dramatic, quite sort of retro. So a true black is really essential, but that doesn't necessarily correlate to the price tag. So you need to just try it on your hand. And also there is something to be said for not buying a mega expensive one if you're just experimenting, because you may not find it's right for you, or you may just do it once every few months, in which case you don't want it to go off. So have a look at the column to see what my favourites are, and I look forward to hearing yours in the comments section. Thanks very much. Bye.